Today, we're going to take a closer look at Microsoft. Microsoft just had their Ignite event, and it's actually still going on, but they already showcase a lot of great information that AI investors should know, that Microsoft investors should know, that Nvidia investors should know, because they do share a lot of great insight about this industry. So in today's episode, we're going to take a closer look at that. So let's get started. But before we go anywhere, make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button, check out the pinned comment for a special offer at fool.com/Jose and for my earnings ebook. Now, let's get started.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
So the first thing I want to discuss is there was an interview with CNBC and Microsoft CEO. And this was kind of talking about the advancements of AI, more importantly about the AI revolution. So Microsoft CEO says that one thing is that perhaps having lived through, let's take one of the biggest technological kind of events or cycles in the past, which was cloud, right? That was the most recent. And what happened in the cloud over 10 years, let's say, is happening in AI in a compressed period of time, like maybe half the time. He says, thinking about it, when in the cloud market, it took him about 15 years to build up somewhere around 2 or 3 gigawatts of cloud capacity. And thanks to AI, they believe they will be able to build that within the next couple of years instead, because of the huge demand of AI applications. And right now you can say it's more of catch up, because there's not a simple application that's not going to be an AI application. So I think this overall was just bullish for the sentiment of the AI space, especially if you are an Nvidia investor. If you are an Nvidia investor, this mentions that, hey, look, they're in the catch-up phase. They're going to be buying a lot more chips for the foreseeable future. They're going to be building data centers like crazy to kind of catch up to this market. And the other thing we see is it is thought by all these top tech leaders that AI is going to run every single thing. So if you thought cloud computing was insane, then the evolution of AI is going to be even crazier. Now, the other thing we got from Microsoft is they talked a little bit about their semiconductor solutions. So for those that are not familiar, every big tech player designs their own AI chips and their own chips in general to help reduce the cost of certain workloads. So for example, Microsoft has an AI accelerator called Maya, and it has a CPU called Cobalt. Microsoft is now kind of expanding this semiconductor infrastructure to improve their efficiency and to kind of pay less in general. The first one that they added was Azure Integrated HSM, which is a hardware security module, which is overall a dedicated hardware security module that hardens key management to allow encryption and signing keys to remain within the bounds of the HSM without compromising performance or increasing latency. They do mention that this new chip will be installed in every new server in Microsoft's data center starting next year to increase protection across their clouding fleet for both confidential and general purpose workloads. The second one is they are introducing a DPU, Azure Boost DPU, which is their first DPU designed for data-centric workloads with high efficiency and low power, capable of absorbing multiple components of a traditional server into a dedicated chip. So the most important thing, if you're not familiar with the DPU, is it helps takes some of the workloads outside of the CPU. So it makes the CPU more efficient, and it allows for better performance, and it sends it to the DPU, which is dedicated for those workloads. So a lot of the big players, again, do design their own. I know Amazon designs their own of DPU as well. So this is just something traditionally that big tech does. Now, this is why, in my opinion, it's also great to kind of be in companies that help with custom semiconductor solutions, and also maybe the software place, which I personally don't invest, but you kind of see this tailwind of big tech investing and designing their own chips. And remember, chips are not just CPU and GPU. There's a variety of semiconductor solutions out there that you can kind of get to help improve your data center and your cloud solutions. Another one that they talked about is their cooling technologies. For GPUs and AI accelerators, they did announce their next generation liquid cooling sidekick rack, which is a heat exchanger unit. And the unit can be retrofitted into Azure's data center to support cooling of large-scale AI systems, such as ones from Nvidia, including the GB200 in their AI infrastructure solution. So we can see the cooling, no one thinks about it, but cooling and being able to cool all these AI chips and to be able to cool all these data centers requires some strong engineering talent as well. So Microsoft is working to kind of design their own. And again, for those that are not familiar, just kind of want to throw little knowledge bits here and there for those that might not know the space too much. While you have kind of your big server makers like Dell, like Supermicro, usually the big tech players like Microsoft, like Google, like Amazon, because they have massive data centers and because they have massive amount of AI servers and servers in general, they have a segment that builds them. So a portion of their business is that one that builds this because for them, it makes the most sense. It makes them for cost effectiveness because they understand how their data centers are going to build out. So they have a team that builds out their own servers for them and that continues to advance it for next generations. Now, if you are an Nvidia investor, you're going to want to hear this. In October, they did launch their ND H200 V5 virtual machines, which utilizes Nvidia's H200 GPUs. And most recently, they did announce that Microsoft is bringing the Nvidia Blackwell platform to cloud. They are beginning to bring these systems online in preview, co-validating and co-optimizing with Nvidia and other AI leaders. And this is going to be Azure's ND GB200 B6. So pretty excited. It just continues to showcase that Microsoft is building a huge AI infrastructure. We heard from the CEO that this infrastructure build is in catch-up mode and they still have a lot to do, and that the AI market is going to be pretty much everywhere, which is again very bullish. So we're seeing how Microsoft is definitely a strong player in the AI space. Now, next in this AI event, or it's not even an AI event, it's their overall Ignite event, which talks about all the development tools, but it's really focusing on AI right now. Microsoft announced a few new things like AI Foundry, which is kind of a software to help software developers and developers develop more AI applications. They also did announce kind of AI agents. So not only is Microsoft working on the infrastructure and the hardware side, but they're also working on the infrastructure in the software side so we can get even more applications here. So I'm pretty excited about this, and I do believe Microsoft is a top player in the AI space right now. The final thing that I thought was pretty interesting is Microsoft announced Windows 365 Link, which is the first cloud PC device for Windows 365. So this is expected to be only about $400, and it's this small PC right here. And it's not really a PC. Everything is kind of done on the clouding side, but it's kind of the device that allows you to connect to the cloud side, right? So this is what they call the next generation of cloud computing. And I think it's pretty cool and pretty great for semiconductor solutions, right? Because if we're gonna go more into cloud computing, then you're gonna need more form of cloud infrastructure, right? So you're gonna have the increase of more servers. And this showcases that, hey, look, the growth in data centers is not necessarily just for AI solutions. We're also seeing other cloud solutions as well that are increasing the demand. So cloud PC seems to be in early innings now, and it's going to join the masses. So pretty interesting, as most likely maybe now companies are not going to give you a laptop per se. They might just give you one of these Windows 365 links that you can take anywhere that has internet, and you can connect to it and be able to kind of do all your work via the cloud. So pretty cool there, and want to see how this progresses. Now, there was a final thing with Microsoft and Nvidia. Obviously, Nvidia has their GPUs within the desktops, within the laptops, and Microsoft and Nvidia are making it easier for developers to use Nvidia's GPUs within those local PCs and your local laptops to be able to supercharge AI tools. So this is great because if you are, let's say, wanting to be an AI content creator, or if you want to use AI tools, you're going to go to your Best Buy, you're going to go to your Amazon and try to search for laptops or desktops that have NVIDIA GPUs. because you know from the public and you know from all these companies that they're working together to make sure that you have the best performance thanks to Nvidia GPUs. Now, just taking a quick look at PE forward ratios, just my overall thoughts on Microsoft. We can see forward PE ratios for Nvidia is 51.4, but remember, Nvidia ends this fiscal year in about a quarter from now, so it's like less than 3 months, while Microsoft, I believe, still has 3 quarters. So that's the main reason there's a huge difference in PE ratio because of the time. But Microsoft's forward PE ratio is 31.9. I don't think that's necessarily crazy when we look at PE ratio forward one fiscal year away from now. Nvidia is sitting at 34 and Microsoft sitting at 27. So I personally wouldn't buy Microsoft at these levels or Nvidia at these levels. Both would be more very, very small dollar cost averaging. I think for both these companies, patient investors might get better buying opportunities. Right now, it's just the time to do small sprinkle buys here and there if you really want to get exposure. But I would never, ever buy big bulks at these levels right now. Now, some other final things for Nvidia. We did see Stifel adjust their price target to 180 from 165. We did see Truist increase the price target to 167 from 148. We see Fubon, this is one I personally haven't heard of, increase the price target to 200 from 170. And we actually got a price cut from Baptista where they cut their price target to 156 from 165. So that was an interesting one. I believe this is the first time I've seen a price cut here. As you guys know, I don't really care much about these price targets. As a long-term investor, these price targets have nothing on me and nothing that could make me bullish or bearish. I just like to share them because I know some of you guys are curious about this. But for long-term investor, most of these analysts are just, I don't know how they're guessing these numbers. In the long term, I just know Nvidia is going to be a much bigger company than it's at right now. And I believe it's also going to outperform the overall market when looking at it in the long term of things, even starting from now. But again, I do believe patient investors will probably have the better buys for Nvidia later on because anything can happen in this market. So we have Nvidia earnings later today. Make sure to join me for the live stream. I will be starting around 3:30. So take care. Have a good day and see you next time.